Dan frickin' Becker, the first call-in guest on Backcountry BSing. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Welcome. This is episode 14 of Backcountry BSing.
Yeah.
We've gotten so far from the backcountry aspect of this.
I love how we're not even remotely in the backcountry. But this started out with the idea behind it was starting out sitting in the backcountry.
At some point, we'll drag all this equipment in there and do
We're
it.
not dragging this equipment.
All right. We got the call-in line open.
The late night
call-in line. We got a big YouTuber today.
Yep. It's made an explosive.
We're gonna talk to him about that. All things Dan Becker. Call-in line. Let's get him on. Dan. Dan, how's it sound?
What's up?
Dude, this actually sounds pretty good.
It actually works. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. You guys sound like you're on a radio show.
Well, you sound like you're on a radio show when you're calling it.
Really?
Oh my God, this is awesome. All right, Dan. So first, thanks so much for doing this and volunteering to be the first guinea pig for the call-in show, what we're calling the Backcountry BS call-in show. This is awesome.
Yeah,
you sound good.
Yeah.
Like it sounds really good, right?
Good. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are kind of bleeding in a little bit over each other, and tiny bit of delay, I think. Other than that,
we're still testing this setup. So, but we like sank in the audio, and it sounds pretty good when you replay it. So, I think we're gonna roll with this. Okay. So, welcome to the first virtual Backcountry BSing.
Yeah, welcome, Dan, to the backcountry.
Yeah, I know. We started doing these actually out in the backcountry, and they've gotten so far from that.
Yeah, congrats. You're in my basement right now.
Yeah.
I watched it when you guys were doing it. I watched the Tim Watson, the Josh Ebersole, the Bryce Newbold.
Oh, so from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, all right, Dan, we start every single one of these by asking the same question. How did you get into backpacking?
How did I get into backpacking? That's a great question. I was, let me see, about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I had a couple of buddies of mine, and we decided that we wanted to just go camping. And camping went to, let's just go and, Survivor Man it in the middle of the woods, and we'll bring nothing but a backpack. And back then, I didn't know backpacking existed. I mean, I didn't know it was a thing. I knew people like trails, but I didn't know anything about it. So I got online, and I think one of the first videos I saw was something like maybe Tim Watson or something talking about sleeping in a hammock, and I'm like, what? Really?
Oh, so you went straight to hammock. You went straight to hammocks.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's a rarity.
Wait, so what was the first hammock that you had then?
I got it on woot.com.
I know Woot.
Yeah, it was like what is it? What do they sell? Oh gosh,
it was like a real hammock?
Territory or something. No,
okay.
It was like a cheap Chinese. Yeah, it was no.
Okay.
It was terrible. It was the worst experience of my life. I didn't sleep at all.
And that was
like maybe an hour.
And that was your first experience backpacking too?
Yep. First experience backpacking, hammocking, the whole thing. I mean, I went out. I mean, it was like the night before. Literally the night before. I remember I had like some like laptop backpack. I didn't even have a backpack.
Did you take your laptop?
And I had it. Yeah. But I tried to get everything in. I had so much stuff strapped. I think I have a picture somewhere, but I have so much strapped everywhere out on the outside of it. What am I going to do? There's no way. So I ran to Walmart at like 8 o'clock at night the night before, and I bought a whatever brand they sell there. I can't even remember what it is. The Ozark Trail.
I was going to say Ozark Trail. That was my guess.
Yep. Bought an Ozark Trail, and that was it. Yep. Stuffed it full of probably 45 pounds worth of stuff. Hiked in maybe a mile.
Where'd you go? Where was this?
Kettle Moraine, actually.
So that was your. So I remember the first time we talked, and you told me where you're from, and I lived in Wisconsin for a couple of years, and that was actually Kettle Moraine. Now, granted, we rented. You can rent those shelters there. That was the first time. That was the first time I went backpacking as an adult. We rented one of those. We camped inside one of those shelters.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was 2009, and I was working in Wisconsin, and a couple of buddies of mine from Wyoming were like, "Hey, there's some backpacking here," and I'm trying to remember, like Kettle Moraine. It's east of Madison. I don't remember. It's like northeast of Madison, right?
Yeah. There's the northern part is sort of east, and the southern part is just south of Madison.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about it, and we literally we walked in like maybe a mile and camped.
And
that's
were
exactly what I did.
You were that person too that set up your tent in the shelter.
We set up our tents inside the shelter.
Well, some of the shelters there though, like you have to set up your tent in the shelter.
Yeah.
Like some of the places, it's terrible. They really don't have very good spots for tents around the shelters.
And the shelters are huge. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. They're massive. Like it's not like a Laurel Highlands shelter. It's like a shelter, like a shelter house shelter.
Oh yeah.
So you can set up inside of it.
You can easily fit 3 2-person tents in there easily.
Yeah, and that's
walk
literally, we had 3 tents in there. Okay, so that was 4 years ago when you did that.
Yeah, maybe 2015, I think it was 2015, 14, something there.
So talk us through.
So when you got back from that, obviously then your mindset was there's got to be a better way to do this because you kept going.
Yeah, I was addicted, instantly addicted. Like even though I was miserable sleeping, that was the only miserable part of it. I didn't know how to sleep in a hammock. I knew nothing about it. It was a nightmare. So, but I was hooked, and I have a very addictive personality. So I was, second I got back, I just unloaded on YouTube, and absorbed everything I could as far as backpacking went, and just, researched and started buying stuff. Man, I was constantly Amazon packages showing up at my house for months and months and months of just stuff, just trying stuff, and then trying to convince people to go with me because I couldn't find anybody that wanted to go with me. The 2 guys that I went, they had fun, but it wasn't like
they weren't hooked like you.
One guy went with me one other time. No. Okay. One guy went with me one other time since then.
They probably like, this Becker dude's trying to kill us.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was.
Were you like so you went to Kettle Moraine, and then so you're like, I want to backpack some more. So where did you start looking to go after that?
Well, it ended up being, I was just hiking the Kettle Moraine. I ended up probably backpacking there maybe 7 or 8 different times because I nobody would go with me. So I started taking my kids, and
nice.
My
Even
kids
better.
could only go. Yeah, well, they could only go, so far. I didn't want to be too far from home and that kind of stuff. And then after that, it was, trying to find out, well, where else is there to backpack? And I knew nothing. The only thing I knew of was out where you guys are at, because I watched all of your guys' videos, Ohio and Pennsylvania. And
that's depressing. Yeah. Sorry.
And you're in Wisconsin.
But you know what I mean? Like
Wisconsin's way better than Ohio.
Oh, yeah, but so it was just, where's the next place I can go? I think that the next awesome trip I probably took the next trip I took that I would be considered awesome is when I went out to Colorado.
Okay.
And hiked the Rockies. So that was pretty fun.
So you went from Kettle Moraine to the Rockies?
Yep.
Good for you.
Yep.
And what did you do?
Yeah.
What specifically did you do in Colorado, in the Rockies?
We did a family trip out there. So we pulled the camper, and my wife was like, all right, you can go one night. So I just did a one-nighter. We probably went in about 7 or 8 miles, camped, came back out about 7 or 8 miles. Yep. So that was brutal. That's where I got elevation sickness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was bad. Yeah, we were up about 11,000 feet or so, and it was bad.
That's serious. That's like real elevation.
Wait, you camped at 11,000 feet?
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
that's
camped
high.
at 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
That's no Kettle Moraine.
Yeah. that's...
No. Nope. I was just excited to be out there. I'm like, I'm in Colorado. There's no way I'm not
right
in a backpack.
Yeah.
It's just not going to not happen.
So okay, we got to talk about the transition to YouTube because you're the biggest thing to hit the backpacking YouTube scape in the past like 2 years. So we'd be remiss if we didn't touch on that. So you backpacked for a couple years, and then how did you decide? All right, it's time to get into this YouTube stuff.
Okay, so when I started YouTube, I'd probably been backpacking, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and I was frustrated that I couldn't solve the problem of being. Early on, I'd been claustrophobic in a hammock. That's what I found out was my problem the first night I ever slept in a hammock. Yep, like horribly claustrophobic. So I was, trying to figure out how to not be claustrophobic in a hammock, and I was frustrated there wasn't a video on it. So I just figured it out. I figured out how to not be claustrophobic anymore. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to be the guy that makes the video. So
really?
I grabbed a camera.
I didn't know this.
Yep, slammed it on my desk in my office, and I just was like, here we go. I started talking to this camera. I'm like, okay, whatever. Got that off my chest. And then, I started looking online a little bit. I'm like, wow, I got a view. Holy cow, somebody's watching this. Are you kidding me? Wow.
A view. Joke's on you now, Dan.
Yeah, right. And then that was it. That was it. And the same way I got hooked on backpacking, just absolutely addicted to it, was exactly what happened with YouTube. I was just like, okay, maybe I should try another video. Let's see if anybody else watches that one. And that was it. Yep. So
it snowballed on you there. Yeah. What's it been like growing so big?
So aggressively,
too. So fast.
Yeah, so that's a great question. It was not, obviously not expected at all. It's now to the point where I'm hopefully going to go full-time YouTube within the next 6 months.
Wow. Is that a lot? Yeah. Is that an announcement on our show? I feel privileged. You're announcing that on Backcountry BSing.
But that's kind of where it's gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And how things, it's not totally certain yet, but there's some pretty cool things happening. And so I'm just, but the progression from, slamming a camera on the desk to growth has been it's been a wild ride. I mean, like I didn't even tell anybody I had a YouTube channel for 2 months. My wife didn't even know I had a YouTube channel. So I was thoroughly embarrassed that I was talking to a camera. Like,
really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was just like, come on, I can't tell anybody I'm doing this.
Oh my God.
And then my son, something popped up somewhere, and he was just like, Dad, are you kidding me? Really?
Wait, he didn't know?
No, nobody knew. My wife didn't know. Nobody knew.
So that means he was he was searching backpacking
Your son
videos.
was cruising YouTube and was like, is this my dad?
Well,
That's cool.
I must have had the computer. Something came up somewhere, but he saw that I had a video up there, and of course he runs and tells my wife. My wife just is like, then she starts laughing, like, "What? Are you kidding?" I'm like, "All right, honey." And this was 2 months into it.
I was going to ask what your wife's reaction was. She's like, "Dan, you're a YouTuber now."
She definitely laughed. Oh yeah, she doesn't even watch YouTube at all. Like, that's not even on her radar.
Does she watch it now?
She better start watching now.
Is she watching it now?
Yeah. So yeah, she does. She does a little bit now. So she'll be like, yeah, I watched your video. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah.
Oh, where's the bite?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. So she's gone with me. She's gone back.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I figured she's gone with me one time, and she enjoyed it. But our family's campers in general.
Yeah.
Like, I have a travel trailer, and we've been camping for 20 years. So she likes to camp, but she likes to glamp more than she likes to backpack.
Everyone likes to glamp.
Yes, because it's better. But there's something about backpacking. I mean, there's something dipping your toes into that like natural world that you don't get from camping. Is she now with your success? Is she more like open to going?
Yeah.
And does she hammock?
Sure. She told me.
Does she hammock?
No. She's a tenter.
Okay.
She's a tenter for sure. Yep.
You gonna convert her?
Yep. I've tried, man. I probably have, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 different hammocks, but yeah, no, she's a tenter for sure.
So what is something? So okay, so let's go over the numbers. So you what? Well, you started your channel just over a year ago, right?
Yep. November 15th, 2018 was my first official video.
Happy YouTube birthday, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you're what? Almost 40,000 subscribers later. So what's been the
What's that?
Like you've grown to what? 30, 35,000, 40,000 ish?
Yeah, 30 almost at 37,000.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll round that up for you to 40. What's been the biggest surprise?
I think it just people finding out that I never thought would find out that aren't into backpacking.
Yeah.
People just around the town that will be like, yeah, one of your videos popped up, and I don't even know how it showed up, but I can't believe that you have a YouTube channel.
I was going to ask if you got noticed next. That was my next question. It was,
no,
I've
only been noticed. I've only been recognized one time. And
really?
That was when I was in, Red River Gorge. Yep.
Oh, okay. So recently.
And I actually got it on, I was recording for a video, and I had kind of moved my phone down because I was using my phone, and I forgot to stop recording, and the guy comes up to me, he's like, Dan Becker? I'm like, wow, yeah. So I got the whole thing on audio.
How did you feel about it? Like, was it weird?
Yeah, totally weird.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
weird
not
at
like
first.
it at all.
Really?
No.
It's only going to get worse, Dan.
No. It was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. But it was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was pretty cool. But
that's interesting. So we actually got noticed at Red River Gorge a couple weeks ago. Red River Gorge must be the place where they're watching YouTube videos.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there.
But I can attest, so the first time, when was the first time we got noticed?
On the trail would be the AT.
But what was the actual first time? I don't remember.
I got noticed at REI.
Andy got noticed at REI like way back when.
But really? REI?
Yeah.
Yeah. It just happened to be like, he's actually, we like hang out with him and stuff. He works there, and he was
know
like,
him now.
Yeah, we know him. He was like one of the original like couple hundred subs, and it was just like happenstance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was just like happenstance. Like what? I don't even know the story. You were at REI, and then what happened? You were like checking out instant guac or something?
I was checking out dehydrated guacamole. And he told me not to buy it.
And then he was like, "You're the Schill brother."
Yeah, I forget what he said, something along those lines. But then he was like, "Hey, also I met you on Laurel Highlands as well." And I was like,
"Oh right,
oh yeah, I remember you." So.
Oh wow.
So Dan, it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah. So you gotta get comfortable.
It was weird. It's weird at first though. It's definitely weird at first, and we're a fraction your size now, so I can only imagine. Once you, I don't know, we're in a big city. I know you're in a smaller city. That might be part of it. And we also have a lot. Well, I guess you kind of have it there. We've got like 4 or 5 backpacking places within like an hour or two where we live that we go. So it's like from like a statistical standpoint, the odds of us seeing people are probably pretty higher than you, but it's coming, buddy. It's coming. I mean, I'm surprised you're not recognized around town.
Well, no, what's funny is I'll hike a trail, I'll post a video, and then somebody will comment and be like, "Oh my gosh, I was just there," or I had a comment on the Red River Gorge one. Some guy was like, "I knew it was you. I just didn't say anything. I was so nervous. I didn't know." So that was kind of cool.
Well,
we went to a YouTube meetup. I went to a YouTube subscriber meetup in Michigan.
Yeah.
In October, and I brought my son with me. He's been in a couple videos, and people were recognizing him. He's 12, so dude, he felt like a rock star.
And YouTube,
total celebrity.
YouTube for so our nephew is 12 or 13, and YouTube is like huge for that age group.
Oh yeah,
huge.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I always keep telling people when those kids probably aren't backpacking a ton right now, but when those kids 5 to 10 years from now, and they become in the 18 to 35, those people are going to be consuming YouTube content.
Yeah.
I think about when that wave hits, because you have kids, how big it is with kids. It's huge. And when that demographic gets old enough to actually start watching it full time and watching stuff that we make, our stuff, it's not for kids, not because it's raunchy. It's just 13-year-olds aren't going backpacking. by
Our
themselves.
demographic is 30-year-old male.
Yeah. So is yours, Dan. And it's like, but when those kids get older, I think, I don't know what's in store for YouTube. Like it could get real weird, you know? And you know what I mean? Like it could become like a mainstream form of entertainment. And speaking of that,
sure.
I saw you did your first Instagram story today.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do any Instagram ever. YouTube,
So what?
YouTube was already so time consuming.
So what?
I mean, I'm putting 20, 30 hours a week into YouTube right now,
Oh my
easily.
God. How much does your wife pay you for that?
Yeah, as long as I can pay the bills.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, she's, but yeah. So I got talked into Instagram. I did a sponsored video, and the part of the deal was I had to have an Instagram.
Oh,
was
this the backcountry stuff?
Yep,
Okay.
backcountry.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you gotta have an Instagram. I'm like, well, I guess I'm starting an Instagram.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So Dan,
So that was it.
this brings up a good point. Like, how do you choose who to like align yourself with or accept gear from? Like, is there like a big process? Yeah,
because I get offers. I mean, you guys know. You I'm sure you get offers like this. I mean, just all of the absolute no-name Chinese companies.
Yes. Oh, the Amazon ones.
Like,
oh my God, yes.
Amazon ones, or like I'll get somebody like, we have this perfect camping gear. It's a 12-pound generator, and we think you'd be great with that out in the backcountry. And
do you respond to them?
Devices. Honestly,
we don't
the
anymore.
Salesperson in me, you don't. Yeah, I mean, it gets harder and harder. But
we get so many.
The networker, yeah. Well, the networking and the salesperson in me, and the guy, I don't want to leave people with a bad taste ever. So I kind of feel like obligated. I feel like it's just etiquette,
Yeah.
I'll respond or whatever.
Bad.
So yeah, I feel bad, or I don't want them to go to another company and be like, well, he's a douchebag or something.
That's
so
fair. That's a good point.
So, but for me, it's now it's are they in line with me and my channel? Is it gear I'm actually going to use? If it's not gear I'm actually going to use, would my subscriber base appreciate it?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So the sponsors, the thing with Backcountry, the reason I like that so much is because I got to pick the gear. So
I didn't. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
So for that one, it was perfect because, it was essentially like, well, I'm already doing it anyway with Amazon. I'm buying the gear and I'm just telling you guys to buy it at Amazon,
Yeah.
This time I'm working with Backcountry. I'm telling you to buy it at Backcountry. So, and that was it. And so the partnership is continuing. So we've got some other stuff coming up and things like that, but it's the same thing. Anything that I talk about with Backcountry, it's all going to be, stuff, I bought. It's all me. So
when they approached you, was that the deal that they approached you with? Or were you like, no, I'm only talking about gear that I want to do? I'm just curious.
No, not at all. No, because it was just what concept. We just came up with a concept idea,
Okay.
because it's my channel.
Yeah.
It was my channel, so they know that. And if I'm going to get views and people to come watch the content, I've got to be the creator of the content. So they didn't tell me what to do in any regard at all. They just had some, like, hey, could you talk about this, and this about us in the video? And it was just real basic stuff.
Okay.
Stuff about their website or whatever. But the whole concept is whatever you do, we just want you to encourage people to buy it from us. And I'm like, well, I think you guys are awesome. So yeah, it sounds great. We can do that. So that's essentially how that whole thing went.
So one thing I want to ask you, and something I think about, granted we're not where you are, but especially if you're considering going full time, is like, are you ever concerned with burning out? And what do you do to make sure you don't do that?
Yeah. So the burnout for me has been juggling my my quote unquote full-time day job and my my YouTube stuff. So now I'm doing like 50-50. And so
okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's a job. Like I've heard so many people say, I never want to go full time on YouTube because I feel like it's going to be a job, or I don't want to have to make a video every week because then I feel like it's a job, and I don't want to feel obligated to the schedule, And there definitely are moments where I feel that way, but at the same time, I just get such a rush from making the content in the video and editing it and learning, and it's just this. I don't know. It's just the addiction side of me where I just love to do that kind of stuff. So I don't think there's any burnout in the near future. As a matter of fact, I'm looking to hopefully make more than a video a week. I'd like to make 2 and 3 videos a week if I could. So, but it's the time. And I feel like my day job interrupts my YouTube job now, rather than the other way around. You know what I mean? Like I feel I'd rather do this than that. So that's kind of the plan.
Well, this is a shame because at some point I was going to ask you for an insurance quote, but it sounds like that's going out the door.
Yeah, let's just put that out there. Go ahead, everybody out there, email me, Dan Becker. I sell insurance.
I'm actually not joking. I'm in the process of getting a new house, and I need to bundle stuff. But anyway, we can take that offline. That's funny. No, that's
awesome.
No, I'm happy for you. I still remember. I'm trying to remember when we first talked on the phone. This was like early this year, like January, February.
Yep.
And it's been cool. It's been cool to see you grow from there, and kind of see, you got Instagram now. You got this backcountry stuff. It's been cool to see how that all matures, like from our standpoint.
Yeah, well, you guys. I don't think you guys in the Ohio crew realize, but when I first started talking to you guys, it was like starstruck for me. Like I had been watching you guys for years. I had subscribed to you guys. I was probably. I never commented on stuff, so nobody knew who I was. So you and Tim and Bryce and even Josh Ebersole and some of these other guys, I'd watched you guys for years, and then all of a sudden I decided to make a video, and then I started reaching out to you guys. I wonder if I could be friends with them.
Now you're on our podcast, Dan. Joke's on you.
Yeah, now I'm on a podcast.
No,
yeah, right, exactly.
That's one. Sorry. No, go. You're good.
No, I think there's just a delay in the line, but it was just a cool, progression to see how things sort of unfold, I suppose.
So that's one thing that Andy and I always talk about, and this is something you can relate to. Like the one of the coolest things about having a solid YouTube channel is you get to meet all the YouTube people you watched,
all the YouTube celebrities,
so what you're talking about, like when we first backpacked with Frozen, and and when we first met Tim, and we're like, oh my god,
I remember Tim.
We're like, Tim's so much taller in real life. And then with David Gray, and who's a big fan of yours, by the way. I know we've talked about that.
I love David Gray.
It's like he was one of the Andy got me on David Gray, and then I was like, oh my god, David Gray's coming over. He's coming over to your house. Andy did clean his house.
That did happen. We did actually clean.
And I think that's what's cool about YouTube. It's like no matter what happens or how big you get, you kind of still have that. Okay, Dan. So I'm assuming I'm not you, but with your tremendous success and growth, you've spawned haters, and we get that we get that on a minor level.
We get like one.
We get one or two. Is that how has that been? Like, was that something you knew was going to happen? Or did that come out of left field? Or how has that been going?
No, because my personality is I like to make friends with anybody. Like I'm super social. I'm always the guy that walks up to you in the crowd and meets you, shakes your hand, that kind of stuff. And I just like people. And so when I got into the whole YouTube thing, that was kind of my attitude. Like, I'm just going to meet everybody. I'm going to get to know everybody. And little did I know, not everybody you meet likes you.
Right.
A lot of politics.
So like, yeah, and then you grow, and I think part of because I think I got a lot more heat than most people do when they start, because
I would agree.
I had the spotlight.
Yeah, I would agree.
I was growing quickly, so everybody was like, "Who's this Dan Becker guy? What a douchebag! Oh my god!" So, it wasn't just. It was the interesting part is it was from mainly other backpacking channels that were hating on me.
Yeah.
Now, but the people that are like viewers that comment, the trolls. Yeah. They're just, a drop in the bucket of the people that actually love you.
Right. It's such a small percentage. Yeah.
It's such a small percentage, but they stick out like a sore thumb because they're the ones commenting, and then that's the comment that you zone in on.
Right.
Like, well, I thought I made a great video and you don't like it. What's the problem?
Yeah.
So,
how have you learned to deal with it?
I was,
or have you? It's kind of a weird thing. Right?
No, I don't. I mean, the old saying, you just don't feed the trolls.
Right.
So I just don't feed the trolls. If somebody comes on my channel and my channel I consider my channel my world.
Yeah.
And I own my world.
Right,
and if I don't like what you say or do or whatever, you're gone. I'm going to ban you.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but it's true. And they don't know they're banned. I ban them,
Yeah.
But I guess it's early on, it bothered me more when there were backpacking channels that did it. And now I'm just like, I kind of laugh at it because, it's just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Get a life. Find something else to do.
And I've received flack for defending you to certain backpacking channels. I'll go out and say that. And I stand by the statement that if Dan Becker had 5 subs and got 1 view per video, these backpacking channels wouldn't care. So that indicates some form of jealousy on some level, I think.
For sure.
I would agree with that. I think that there's
for sure.
I think that there's some channels out there that have been in the game for a long time that just
and they see this hotshot Dan Becker's coming up.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, it goes back to the old saying of like, nobody's forcing you to watch videos.
Right.
So
that's right. Exactly. And I think what people, the hard part about YouTube is when you watch someone on YouTube, you develop an opinion of them without ever having to talk to them.
Right.
Like a lot of these people have never even spoken to me. Right. They know nothing about me. I said something that they didn't like, or my style, whatever. I'm not a thru-hiker, or whatever. I only backpacked 10 miles because I've got kids. What do you want me to do?
So you're 80% of the backpacking community.
More than that.
Yeah.
Right, like 98% of the backpacking community, right?
Yep. And I just kind of look at it and, it's unfortunate. It really is, because I feel like really honestly what's holding a lot of channels back is honestly it's their attitude. I just really think that if people could get along, we could all help and support each other on a bigger level. I mean, I've even had this with companies. I'm not going to name names, but I'll tell you that.
Really?
Oh yeah,
you can name names on our show. I'm just teasing. Well,
there's certain companies that have reached out to me and oh man, we love your stuff. Blah blah blah. We want you to do. We're going to send you some stuff, and these are companies that a lot of people really like. And the next thing you know, these companies are like chiming in with these haters, like off on the side. They don't think I know it.
Really?
And liking their posts, commenting on it, laughing.
Wait,
and right after
really?
they send me something, right after I get something in the mail from them, I'm like, well, guess what, buddy? Your loss. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
What's the logic behind that?
Maybe they're trying to stir controversy, get more views, clicks. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Do you read all the comments, Dan?
I try to. Yeah, I try to read all the comments. And I try to respond to them still, which is really difficult.
It's got to be. Yeah.
I want to get to that point where I'm like, okay, first hour, and then after that I'm done. But I just feel like because I always hated it when I would comment on a big channel and they never commented back. But I didn't know any better as a person who was watching the video. I didn't know what it was like to be a YouTuber. And I would like to be the YouTuber that responds to them, So
that's got to be getting hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. I get, with emails and now Instagram too. And I didn't even for the first 2 weeks, I didn't even know you could get a message.
So did you have like a bunch of like pending DMs?
What was the backlog of your DMs? Jeez.
Yeah. Yep.
So what is next for Dan Becker? Other than going full time, like you got any like epic trips on the docket? Trips you can talk about, obviously.
Yeah, I got a trip coming up here. I don't know if I could talk about it or not. I probably can't. I probably shouldn't. But I do have a pretty epic trip coming up.
Cool.
Very
next
cool.
Month. Keep us in suspense.
Pretty monster. Yeah. I probably should. I probably should keep everybody in suspense. But yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. And then
what about next year?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything on the books other than our trip we're going to do with you, and that will happen. We're still targeting that weekend.
I am down with that. Mark Orton actually messaged me and was like, "Hey, we gotta have a trip."
MacGyver, of course. MacGyver.
If there is one guy I can always count on to be awesome, it's Mark.
Yeah.
Love that.
Do you know him?
Yeah. I mean, I've never met him, but we talk.
You talk
frequently. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. Yeah, he's the one channel. Like he was fairly big, relative. Like when we started,
he's the OG of dry baking.
He's the OG of dry baking. He's the stove video guy. But he's one of the one channels that's pretty big that we've never talked to ever. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I mean, we don't sit there and talk on the phone. It's usually through Facebook or something like that.
But, okay. Yeah, but you're still chatting.
Yeah, we chat. But what was funny is that I'm saying, because he messaged me and I was like, "Oh, dude, I'm thinking about going to Schill Brothers. You should come along."
Oh,
he hasn't
thinking about what?
He hasn't responded yet. So.
Yes, MacGyver's he's crashing our Dan Becker trip. Hands off, MacGyver.
I thought you guys all knew.
No, dude, it's totally cool. No, we got nothing against him. No, nothing. He's one of the few
you guys, and then the other trip I got planned on the books is I'm going out to Olympic National Park. Pretty excited about that in April.
Yeah. That's right.
That'll be fun.
Be some snow out there.
Possibly a trip with David Gray.
He was talking about that. He was talking about that when we were with him. Yeah.
Yep. And then another company might be bringing me out to Utah to do some hiking out there pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting out there and hiking and meeting possibly Devin finally.
Oh, nice.
Over at Backcountry.
Yeah.
Exposure.
Nice. Yep. So this is did you ever think this was going to be your life?
No, my gosh, no way. Not in a billion years. It's weird. Like I had somebody at my church that I go to was like, he comes up to me, he goes, "Hey, my dad watches your channel." And I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And I told him that you go to our church, and he started freaking out. He didn't know that we went to the same church. And so now I'm going to meet this guy at church, I guess, tomorrow night. So it's just, never, man, I never expected it. It's just so weird. It's just so very surreal.
You better get used to meeting subscribers in real life, man.
Yeah.
If you only start traveling around. If you only meet one, dude, that's good. That number is going to get much bigger next year.
Well, you wonder sometimes, like I'll be in a store and somebody look at me like, "They gotta know. Come on, somebody, just say something. Somebody, anybody."
Yeah. And we do get a lot of like, "Hey, we saw you out there. Were you out there this weekend?" We're like, "Yeah, that was us." So there's for the one person that does talk to you, there's probably 20 more that recognize you but are like don't want to say anything. Like Andy and I. Granted, Andy and I work at a very large company, but we get hit up at our company a lot. Like people that work there.
Oh, you guys work at the same place?
Yeah. So, I know. Yeah. Right. And it's, we won't discuss professions on here, but we work at a really big company and we get people, we probably had 8 to 10 over the last year.
Yeah.
That have been like, "Hey, I saw you. Are you Schill Brothers?"
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So you think it's weird getting recognized on the trail? We get recognized at work.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, it's definitely weird at first, but it's cool. I don't know. It's cool. Everyone I've met is so nice.
Yeah.
And so supportive and like, has some sort of personal anecdote about their backpacking and like how you've, how your videos have like influenced their backpacking in a positive way. And I'm like, and it's cool. I always tell people, that's probably one of the most rewarding things for us is when, we get, I'm sure you get these too. We get messages all the time where it's like, I watched one of your videos and like I got outside. I went backpacking this weekend because I watched your video. And like, that is the coolest thing to me, at least.
Yeah.
When people tell me that.
Yep.
We get a lot of these where it's like, hey, we noticed you go backpacking with your wife a lot, and now I'm making your wife watch it, and now me and my wife are going backpacking because your wife's
awesome.
So we're getting that
awesome.
now too, and like hearing that stuff is definitely like the most rewarding thing I think for us.
For sure.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
So you got to be getting that in spades. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah.
So now that you've grown significantly and now you're thinking about going full time, do you think it's easier for you now to get on trips?
Yeah, I've kind of got I think I've got a really good idea to get on trips. So what I've been doing is, you guys know what it's like to get gear. You get, I don't know, maybe you're not this. Maybe you don't get this much, but I get enough gear. I don't need any more gear.
Right.
Like I have companies sending me all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So I tell them, I'm like, hey, well, how about we do this instead of you giving me the gear? Why don't you just? I'll go on a trip with you, and you guys could talk about the gear in my video.
It's a good strategy.
And so
Get
so I've
content.
I've got 3 companies now that have taken me up on it. So that's 3 trips that I've got that'll be paid for. On their dime.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah, that is
because we got way too much.
And
crap.
what it does is it takes
Dan, we
bias.
got way too much stuff.
Yeah.
But we don't have anybody offering to pay for our trips.
Maybe we should be like, hey, don't send us this stuff. Let's go.
Well, I mean, what it does is it takes the bias out of it because I'm not. I don't have to take your gear and do a review. You can do the review. I'll just let you talk about it. You can explain. I don't have to like it or dislike it. You're still in my video, so.
That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, just like I just have them review it, talk about the specs, and
and then you get to meet them like in person and get to hang out with them. That's also very cool.
Yeah, getting to meet the manufacturers and the people behind the gear.
Does it make you make you like these companies more when you get to hang out with them?
Yeah, what's funny is the companies that I talk about all the time in my videos are legitimately the companies that I really believe in and really love. Yeah. Like, I really stand by, not just because I like the product, but because they're genuinely good people. They've got a good thing going. They mean well for their customers, that kind of stuff. So, and I mean, there's definitely big companies where I'm just like, okay, no, I don't think so. Like you're not who I thought you were at all. Yeah. So. But there's definitely it's fun meeting definitely the company and the cool companies to me are the companies that you think are big because you hear about them all the time, and then you meet them and you're like, dude, there's only 5 of you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like wow, and you're all family. Like oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So that's cool to see.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's very cool. That's a good take on working with them too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have room for all this stuff, man. Let's just go on a trip. Dan, when is a hot tent company going to reach out to you? And then you'd be like, hey, if I'm not interested, hey, I know these 2 guys. They won't shut up about hot tents.
Dude, who's got Devin.
I know. He just posted a bunch of stuff.
I know. And he's got the hookup with Seek Outside.
He just posted some really cool stuff.
He got a second hot tent. It's even bigger than the one he has. And
I know.
That's just something like, cause we've been getting more and more into winter backpacking, and it's just something, and ever since, this year I've been sleeping on the ground a little bit more. and it's just like, I don't know. There's something about the hot tent I can't get it out of my head.
I know.
It just seems so.
We'll have to
cozy.
get like an axe or a hatchet too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to process wood,
right?
That's the only like disadvantage, really. But I don't know, especially if we're thinking about going to deep Wisconsin winter in January. I don't want to die, Dan. Dan, it's not going to be a good look if you kill the Schill brothers.
Yeah.
Have there been any so for instance, I don't read that many comments. Andy reads most of them and responds to most of them.
I do like 90% of the comment work.
I will check the comments within the first 4 to 6 hours of videos out. And then usually I'm working on the next video, and then I kind of forget about it. And I'm just like, I'm just working on the next video, and Andy kind of takes over. But there's luckily, I think in the first in that first day or so, I think you only get like the really positive ones.
I do about 24. Yeah. I do about 24 hours after video, and that's it. Then I'm done. I stop looking because that's when trolls start showing up.
Yeah. So and then I'm.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Exactly. And then if you look at one thing which is hilarious to me is like our older videos that have a ton of views. That's when the trolls really come in.
Cheap backpacking food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, this is your list, really?
Has there ever been? So I'm lucky in that I've never, I rarely see hate comments. I do. I truly don't care. But has there ever been a comment or something that just stuck with you, and you don't have to talk about what it was specifically, but has there ever been one that you haven't been able to shake?
No, I don't think there's one I haven't been able to shake, but there have been some that just, they bother. I take that back. There was one that, and this was a guy who, because I cannot tell you how many people I've had ask me to help them with their YouTube channel. I'm talking just starting out backpacking channel.
Right.
I mean, this is not an exaggeration. 1 or 2 a week will email me asking me, "Hey, can I get your number? We'll talk, whatever." So there was this guy, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. I had spent some time helping.
Okay.
And, sure enough, I think I put out a video back when I put out a video called "I Quit," and it was just about, I don't need the ultralight backpack, and here's why.
Yeah.
And the hate that I got from that video was unreal. That was one of those, honestly, that was one of those videos where I was just like, I need content fast.
Yeah.
Already Thursday and I've got work to do.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw this out there. That was that video.
Yeah.
And anyway, so this guy, he comments on there, and he just said some really nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking was, are you kidding me? I went out of my way to personally help you, and this is what you do? This is how you repay me?
Wait, it was the guy that you helped with his channel?
Yeah.
Yep.
What the hell?
Yep. I'd helped him with his channel.
That's so odd.
But that was my point earlier. It's like these people that have these, problems with other YouTubers, maybe jealousy or whatever. If you just got rid of your stupid attitude,
yeah,
that's probably the one thing that's stopping you from growing.
Yeah. That sucks.
Interesting.
That's one thing,
Yeah.
The hate, man. It's such an interesting thing to me, because it's needless. Nobody needs it.
Totally needless.
It's not like they feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving you free content from just how I do things. You may not like how I do it. You may not like my video. You may not like my style. You may think I'm an idiot. I don't know. But I'm giving you something for free. What inside of you is making you comment and say that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
We don't mentor YouTube channels, so we don't have to deal with that.
we also don't get asked to mentor YouTube.
We do not get asked either, so we don't have this problem.
Oh, I was saying, I said, well, you know how I slowed all the people asking me to help them with their channel down. I said I put it out there. I'll do it if you're going to pay me to do it. So I put it out there. I was going to charge for it. My intent wasn't to make money at all. My intent was to just slow it down.
Filter out the a-holes effectively.
Yep. The serious people, because there's people that you help I mean, I can't tell you how many emails I've gotten. Hey, here's the first video I ever made. Can you tell me how I did? And that's fine because I did that. You know, I appreciate that. But at some point, you just got to be like, I can't. I don't have the time to do this. So.
Yeah. You got to pick your battles. Wow.
And then if people are going to turn on you, then too, like screw that.
Yeah. Well, because I think people get into these. You know how it is. The backpacking world is so interesting with its niches of opinions.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's so opinionated. It's like there's these different groups, and I'm just I think whatever.
Yeah.
Do we really all have to hate each other? We're all going outside and hanging out in the middle of the woods and putting up a tent or a hammock and spending the night there. So who cares how we got there? Let's just all hang out and have fun.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's kind of how I think about it.
No.
I think the thing that I see that we keep coming back to over and over and over is that, like, regardless of the haters, is that your channel caters to most people on YouTube who are watching backpacking related content. Period.
Right. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like most people have never thru-hiked a trail, like a long trail.
Right.
And so, I mean, and that, I don't know. I see a lot of politics around that type of stuff, but the bottom line is like, you've got the subscribers and the views to like back up your opinions and stuff. And so, you know.
Yeah. Well, that was a niche I found. I figured that out when I figured out who was watching my channel. That made all the difference in the world. Because when I first started my channel, I almost felt like I needed to prove my worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I was talking about all the ultralights and talking about all the big trails and da 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 da. Deep down inside, I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm not this person. Like I just, and then I realized how many people were, like you said, just like you. I work a full-time job. I got families. I can get out once a year, twice a year.
Right. Right.
So, and they don't relate to some of the ones that are, hardcore hikers, and there's a niche for that. Don't get me wrong, and some of those people are great. Now, I really like watching some of their channels.
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely not saying anything wrong with it. I just feel like the people that you're catering to are probably there's probably far more of them on YouTube.
Right.
Far more.
So here's a question for you. So if you really do this thing full time, would you thru-hike?
No. Nope.
What about in the next 10 years? Because I know you have kids. Maybe. I know you have kids and everything.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
There's nothing about thru-hiking that appeals to me. Dude, like I get
because I feel the same way.
I get backpacking, and I love to like the best part about backpacking for me is when I get to camp and I throw it on my pack and I'm just like, I just take that deep breath and I'm like, oh, there's nothing to worry about right now. Like I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't need to do that though for 6 months straight. So I feel like after 2-3 days, I'm done.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I had a conversation with Darwin, probably 3 or 4 months ago. And we were talking about this, and I said that to him, and he was just like, Dan, I feel the same way. I'm like, you wouldn't know that. Really? No. He's like, yeah, man. He goes, guess what, man? We feel that thru-hikers, we're the same way. And I'm just like, in my back of my mind, I'm like, what the heck are you doing, man? But something about they just thru-hikers just love the grind, I guess.
Yeah.
But, man, after I'm done, I want to go home, and I like to experience different places too, and with different people. So I feel like if I did a thru-hike, I'd kind of be by myself, maybe with the same group.
Yeah. No, that's awesome because like I like the allure of thru-hiking, like of being like nomadic, but I think after 2 weeks, I'm like, all right, I'm going home.
I don't know about me.
Don't know.
Yeah.
I maybe not on the PCT. The PCT is exotic enough. I think that would be cool for 6 months or whatever.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
But that's great. That's hilarious. All right. I think we're gonna wrap this up. Dan, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an hour later here in our time. It's our bedtimes. Dan, I truly appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, and thanks for being our first test on the dial-in.
And thanks for bearing through the technical difficulties here. And I actually think this has been a really good conversation.
Yeah, no, I think
for sure.
I think your story needs to be told a little bit more.
And I
appreciate that.
I've always, quote unquote, defended you to certain crowds because at the end of the day, having talked to you, you are a good person and you mean well, and you've always been a supporter of ours. So we appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to go backpacking.
Vice versa.
But just don't kill us in Wisconsin.
And get us a hot tent.
And please get us a hot tent, Dan. Please. All right, Dan. Thank you so much, dude.
All right, you guys.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was awesome.
Yep.
Anytime.